Welcome to the BXG podcast, the podcast where pop culture and nerd culture meet at the nexus of the universe and are melded as seamlessly as having a Benz and a crib.
Oh,
I am one of your hosts. I'm one of your hosts, Bretton Bestwick, alongside my co-host, the pride of Fredonia, Greg Filson. Greg, how you doing tonight?
I am the pride of Fredonia. I got out of there, which is what makes you the pride of Fredonia. I'm doing great. I got my cool Bowie shirt on. I'm drinking some Bo Rolo. I'm doing fine, man.
G-Reg with the third leg.
Oh, Greg Olson. Yeah, with we are joined tonight.
Oh boy.
I probably should have told you we don't curse on this. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So keep
earmuffs.
This is a family show. Joining us is our second guest, and I'd like to congratulate him for having positive peer interreactions. Now, let me ask you this. I probably should have asked you this before.
Yes.
Before I gave you an intro. Do I give you an intro, or do you only do outros?
Wow. Low hanging fruit, Brendan. That's a low hanging fruit. You can give me intro. You gotta give me intros and outros, man. Here's my question. You going a loner?
I am going a loner.
You going a loner?
So our guest is Dallas Richardson, who is known professionally, semi-professionally, as DJ Outro.
Not as much as David Bowie, but yeah, somewhere around there, you know.
DJ Outro Productions.
It's SD Productions. I DJ. I'm a musician. Musician first, DJ second.
Right. Good. I have. We've got some. I don't. This is not how we do this. I have some,
Isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. We do have some housekeeping as usual. BXG podcast publishes every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and other podcast services around the globe. Official BXG social media accounts on Facebook, facebook.com/BXG Podcast for news and updates, Instagram at BXG Podcast, Twitter at BXG Podcast, plus the YouTube channel, youtube.com/BXG Podcast. And we can be reached at BXG Podcast at gmail.com. The Star Wars, we're going to do the Rank the Star Wars 11 films this Saturday. We're looking for feedback, so write in on there, either on the Facebook page post or the email. Next Tuesday will be the Festivus tradition of the airing of the grievances.
Oh.
So we need people to air their grievances. I know that there's people out there that have grievances that they need to air. I certainly do have some grievances that I need to air.
Ooh.
And we're going to...
Could just be a whole episode of me.
Could be.
Just going off.
Could be.
Oh my gosh. Retail service during Christmas COVID, man, it's not great.
Well, what did you expect, G-Reg?
I mean, I expected bad, but man, it's next level. But I'll air it. Stay tuned.
I know people who used to care who don't care anymore. Like, don't care at all. Like, they have important jobs, and they're just like, nah, whatever.
Whatever. Like the president.
Or a doctor. Like, I know doctors like, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do?
We do have some corrections and clarifications from last week. I referred to the Queen's Gambit as Queen's Gambits. Then clarification for Mandalorian. The Dark Troopers found in the Mandalorian were introduced in Star Wars Dark Forces, a PC game from 1995, later ported to consoles. It's okay, don't have a seizure. I know that you're... have issues with this type of conversation.
No, I'm actually into it.
Just calm down.
I think I might want to stay the whole time so I can learn something about whatever it is you guys do.
Giancarlo Stanton's character, I couldn't remember from The Boys, was Stan Edgar. And I initially called Falcon and the Winter Soldier Captain America and the Winter Soldier when I was referring to that. So we've got listener questions that go into kind of the topics. But we do have a great show tonight. DJ Outro's here.
Yeah. How do we get him?
He was available.
Oh.
There's no bars open, Greg.
We usually...
That's true. Yeah.
Well, listen, I mean, don't you usually... I mean, we could get right into it here with the DJ stuff, but don't you usually DJ in Ohio?
Normally, yeah, but so what they said was no entertainment. So you can't have people dancing. You can have people standing around, eating, going to the same public bathroom. But once you start cutting them ones and twos, there's no dancing or anything like that. So that's what it's been since March. So I've been trying to figure things out, but you got to adapt. I'm pretty sure you can refer that to some Star Wars reference.
Fair enough.
You're having your hand sliced off. You got to figure out what to do.
You got to, or finding out that the most evil person in the galaxy is your dad.
See? See? We can do this together.
You got to adapt.
You got to adapt.
So with that, I actually had a question. Well, so usually what we do is the joke we do is like, I've always wanted to host Saturday Night Live, and you know how they do the monologue, and then they always say, "We got a great show tonight."
Yeah.
Weezer's here. So we do that's part of the show. We do that every week, and I try to come up with one really random band. Like last week was Lou Bega, just to try to make Greg laugh. Because I'll say, like Enigma's here, the Harajuku Girl, whatever. So we try to do that. But we actually have a musician with us tonight. So on the DJ thing, other than clubs, are you doing anything else? Are you doing like, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs?
I did a couple of mitzvahs. I like to call them mitzvahs. No, I'm trying to do my own thing. So what this has showed me is that being a DJ for other people's money at a bar is not something that you can be, that's sustainable. So trying to figure my own way through it and trying to like, okay, how do you make this into something that can be my own commodity? So that's what I'm trying to do now. It's not easy.
They don't pay you?
Yeah.
You just get it's not what you'd want it to be.
No, that's the worst part. They paid me a lot.
Okay.
You don't notice how much they pay you until it stops. But then it's just when somebody's able to just cut you off, it's like, oh, well, that's not real. It's like a girl you're with. It's like, oh, well, you don't like me anymore? That's not how that works. So, it's one of those things. So
it's crazy because real jobs are like that, too.
Yeah, man. I'm starting to realize that.
Because that happened to me recently.
So you start to realize, like, betting on yourself is probably the best bet.
Oh, no, I just meant you don't realize how much they pay you until...
Oh, yeah, I was talking about how much they're dickheads. And doink heads.
There you go.
I got it.
I just don't... Like, here's the issue is I don't know how to bleep people. Like, I can do it. But then when it comes out in the actual episode, it sounds like, I don't know, the red thing from Insidious making that noise. I don't.
I could teach you. I could teach you.
I mean, I know how to do it. It's just for whatever reason it doesn't.
Here's my thing. Don't ever, if you like scary movies. And you don't. Well, really?
No.
That's like the song.
I like them. All
right, Greg. So me and you, G-Reg. So don't ever look up the names of the actual horror characters because they have the worst fucking effing names. Effing. I said effing. They have the worst. Hellraiser's name was it Pinface?
Pinhead.
Pinhead.
What was the dude you just said? Red Scorn. Like they have the worst. They have the worst.
That
names.
sounds like something from Game of Thrones.
But still, they have the worst names. Like nobody thought about their names. Chucky, come on, you could have came up. Charles.
Well, I mean, he's a doll.
Still.
Ghostface.
Horrible name.
I actually have a great story about Ghostface from Scream. When I was in Disney World, we went at Fright Night. Or well, not Fright Night because
that's Kennywood.
It's Disney. It's Disney, so it's Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. The great thing about that for people like me is they hand out full-size candy bars. So I had to buy an extra carry-on bag to bring home all the candy, but neither here nor there. So we go through Space Mountain, and we're going, and they do the thing where they take the picture of it at the end, right? So some dude hops on behind Melissa and I, and it was on Halloween, and people dress up and everything. I didn't see this cat, and then we go through, and we're both making the pretend scared face, like ah, and Ghostface from Scream is in the seat behind me, and that was a perfect keychain, but neither here nor there. So
that would be a nice keychain.
It would be.
Do you save it? You still have it?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't. We've moved a couple times. And anywho, so yeah, I mean, so what are you looking? You said you're looking into making it into your own sort of thing. What does that look like?
So I got a lot of things planned. I'm actually producing again, which I haven't done since 2015. So it's all about having your things organized, man. If you're working for somebody else, you can't actually work for yourself because you're so busy, devoted into what they want you to do.
Right.
So I've been just working for myself. Going to start a podcast here soon. and kind of influenced by you guys, man. You guys do a great job. I really appreciate the. Don't make that face. Don't make that face. You do, man. I'm proud of you, dude. Seriously. I know Greg holds this.
We put out content. We put out content.
I know
Put out content.
You know?
Greg holds
we're
this
out
whole
there
thing
every week.
Greg's the whole glue to this whole thing. I get it, but whatever. Don't laugh at me.
That's true. That's true. I'm the straw that stirs the drink, man.
You're something.
No, seriously. So I see, how influential it could be. That's what I'll say.
Right,
Is that okay
sure.
with you?
Yeah, that's good. I'm good with that.
Yeah, so I want to try something on my own, man. Just trying to see how it is. I'm tired of working for people who ask me questions like, "Hey, you see what that is up there?" I just can't do that anymore. I can't. It doesn't really make sense to me. It doesn't. It's like, it still doesn't make sense. I thought it would make sense as I progressed. Neither here nor there. I'm just trying to do some things for myself, man. Trying to figure things out.
Yeah, I get that. So we talked. Okay, you mentioned the production side of things, and you did a full album in 13, right?
Yes.
With Caliente. Am I saying that correct?
C.
Yeah. So that was, I sent that over to Greg for him to have a listen to.
Yeah.
I kind of joked at the beginning about the Benz in the crib. But there's one song I really like on there, and you sampled Passion Pit. So that's kind of like, my question is, so I'm about as musical as a turd sandwich. So like, how do you get started on, what's that process look like?
So I think it's from listening to like Nelly Furtado when I was younger. I'm not saying it to joke. It's just listening to different. My favorite band is Led Zeppelin. So
Right.
just understanding different like bands and how they create and what you hear. So you hear different things from them. But whenever I heard Passion Pit, the guy actually who I produced a song for said, "Hey, I want you to sample this part, but I have to listen to the whole song to actually get it."
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, I didn't actually understand who the group was or the dynamic or genre of music that they were in until I did it. But it's just interesting, man, being able to pull from different people. And, everybody who's doing something creative is doing the same thing that you're doing. They're
Right.
stressing about it. They're trying to put some new content out. They're scared who's going to react. So it's just like I think the best thing you could do is actually sample somebody who's not well known or not from your culture or anything
Sure.
like that. So people can open up that window of like, hey man, like I can do this too, or this is new, or I turned something different. You know what I mean?
I want to say, you said Led Zeppelin's your favorite band, which I find interesting, being a club DJ and also producing albums like this. What influenced you? What got you going to pursue this as a career goal?
I've been playing the piano since I was like 6. I was a church musician actually. My grandfather was a pastor in Pittsburgh, so I would play for him because black preachers need music. And it's just how it works. It's just how it is. And then I ended up getting paid from it because I didn't know churches would pay you for music, like just to play. So then I started getting paid, and I was like, wow. So then I got older, and then I would start going out places and seeing people in bands like, hey, I can do that. I can play instruments. So then I was like, okay, so I got a computer. And I was like, oh, so you can put it on the computer, and then you can do things with it. So it's a snowball effect, man. It really is. Just like your podcast, I feel like this is going to be a snowball effect. You think you start in your living room, and then it ends up being in some dude's basement. Like, you know what I mean? But no, seriously, that's how it works. It's like, it's crazy, man. Now I'm producing again. And the stuff that I made 6 years ago sounds way better until I got focused again, man. And it's a weird focus to have.
So you just completely derailed my train of thought. Oh, you played
Sweat.
for Pastor Steele for
Yeah.
what's his title? I don't. What
Big Black Man Steele.
Listen.
He's a nice
Tyrone
dude.
Steele's
Nice
shout
dude,
out,
man.
the nicest human I've ever met.
Yeah, he's a nice dude.
Probably.
You wouldn't look at him and think that. You'd be like, oh, this guy's probably about to eat a person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very very calm, very reserved. I
Yeah.
think the first time I dropped an F-bomb around him, he looked at me real weird.
Oh yeah,
I was like-
that's him.
And I was like, "What's your problem?" Deal with it. That's how I get down.
It's kind of how I hopped in this podcast. What's wrong with you guys? Yeah.
Well, it's for the kids. So I have here's a question for you. So you talked about, and I want to get into. So I'm not going to identify this person Because they asked the second question. I'm going to wait till the second question to identify them. So he says, can you ask DJ Outro where his favorite DJ Pauly D, falls in his rankings of the greatest current DJs?
Oh. So DJing has changed. So Pauly D is at the bottom of that food chain.
Oh, okay.
And I don't even like Tiesto. So I don't know if that answers that question. Tiesto is
What's TS?
Tiesto? All right.
That sounds like a drink. Is that...
Dead.
Oh, that's the Rocks tequila?
No, that's the
Okay.
DJ who's like 50 years old. Same thing.
Oh, DJ Scribble.
Remember that dude?
Yeah. MTV. What show was he on, Greg? You're an MTV guy.
Scribble. Yeah, I can see him, but I can't think of the show because they're all kind of the same in the 90s.
Was it just like Spring Break or whatever?
It was just like Spring Break, probably.
It was
It
like
was probably like
TRL
Spring Break
2.
97.
Yeah. Good stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, no, but like you have like Dead Mouse, you got Marshmallow.
Yeah.
A lot of DJs now aren't, so it's going more to making it's actually getting worse because these DJs who are good at DJing are trying to make their own stuff and DJ it. So like,
That's how you see like it's really a Nicki Minaj song, but it's David Guetta featuring.
yes,
Nicki Minaj.
and it's then you get the who's that dude from France? I don't know. They're all not from here, but like Dead Mouse is not from like.
Skrillex and
it's just
Gautier and all that.
Skrillex.
But when you get like a DJ who's actually the art of like being an MC, so a master of ceremonies, whenever in hip hop, a master of ceremonies is the guy who had the mic. He's like, oh yeah, we're here, we're doing this and that. That was an art form.
The hype man.
The hype man. That was an art form.
Yeah.
That was literally a position you held in that culture. And then a DJ was a guy who just scratched a bunch of albums. He didn't make his own albums. Let's not get that twisted. But no, like people shouldn't make. If you're not good at something, you shouldn't do it just to do something else.
All right.
So I guess we're done here. I guess we're done here. That was a great show.
Just because you're good at talking, Brett, doesn't mean he walked away. Is that not?
He's gone.
That's a gingerbread
He's gone.
house. That's a gingerbread house. Hands on Greta are on fire in that house.
Yes.
That's what it looks like to me.
It does look like that.
Here he
He's
comes.
back.
Here he is. Is
Son of a nutcracker.
Is that a?
Son of a nutcracker.
Is that a?
It's good comedy.
Cardigan?
No, it's a pullover, but thanks for noticing.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm here for you, Brett.
So, okay. So you've been DJing on, I mean, you were doing the Facebook, like the quarantine DJ thing, but because it's copyrighted, you keep getting the boot.
Yes.
So you're looking into getting maybe on Twitch, right?
Yes, I am actually.
How's that? Have you started that yet, or are you still working towards
No,
it?
so my biggest thing is I don't know how to build up a following on Twitch. I don't know what Twitch people do, and
I
that's
play
like,
video games.
so yeah, I don't know how to bridge that gap. But
Right.
my goal is to kind of try to use both platforms
Sure.
by using a singular platform. So hopefully I can get around I don't want to infringe on anybody's copyright, obviously, but I feel like once you put music out there, it's music for everybody. I think
Well, I think it isn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but copyright law is just you just can't be making money off of it. Or is that? Am I wrong? I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer.
Well, I think plagiarism would be. I mean, you're making potential money, I guess you would say, but I think plagiarism would be the biggest thing that they should worry about. And then after that, copyright would be like stealing it and making money. You're right, Greg. So I
So
don't
what
really
I
get
don't
it.
understand is how you can't play Garth Brooks on Facebook, but Ninja can Fortnite a game that somebody else made and make literally $30 million.
Well, that's because copyright is just like, hey, I did. It's like when your neighbor steals your lawn chair and you just notice it. Like, whoa, you can't do that. It's just one of them things, man. It's just like nobody paid attention to it until they found that they can make money off of it. So once they found out they can make money off it, it's like, oh, I don't want you to do that anymore. Which is kind of BS because the only reason I'm doing it is to try to promote myself, but make people happy. It's not like
Sure.
I'm not like
horrible.
some people have like their cash apps on their computer screen. I'm like, who does that? That's
right.
That's a real degenerate move right there. I just do it honestly for practice, and the reason you can't. I would compare, not fully, but I would compare being a DJ to being a stand-up comic to where you can't do it unless there's people around.
Yeah, right.
You can't really practice wholeheartedly
Right.
unless there's somebody around. Like, so yeah, that's the reason why I do this. So I wish they would stop doing that shit. Because honestly, so I'm trying to find a way around it, and I'm going to.
Right.
And they're always going to make a way for me to, like, it's just like downloading like songs in the early 2000s. LimeWire is always here, baby.
Sure. Yeah, or downloading movies an hour
No.
ago.
I find that we're in the same spot. We're both trying to give people something that we believe is good and entertaining, and it's getting it out there is the difficult thing, and finding that right audience to make it click. Because I notice, as our age group, I don't understand, and this is going to sound super old, but I don't understand why people on TikTok are popular. Because I don't feel like they're doing anything different or new. It feels like everybody's doing the same thing, and it's like, we're doing something different and new, and it sounds like you're doing something different and new. And I want to know. I think we're all trying to figure out what is that key, that certain note that we're trying to click that is like, oh, this is the thing that appeals to people. And where do you find to be the most difficult thing of like finding that note or whatever it is that you think makes it that click? They're like, ooh, I got that aha moment, I guess.
My thing is, and this is probably going to go way off script, off of what you're.
That's what we do best.
That's exactly what we do.
But
Yeah.
here's my thing.
Welcome to the show.
It's not so much about you finding the thing that clicks. I think you already have the thing that clicks. People are so worried about what's already been clicking. Now, if you look at Justin Bieber, I know a lot of people who are...
Shane Bieber. Continue.
But I know a lot of people who are better than Justin Bieber. I mean, I just know a lot of people personally who are. Could they ever get on the internet right now and do the things and do the numbers that Justin Bieber's doing? No, it's because people put him in a pedestal, and once people put you on a pedestal, they never let you leave that pedestal. They love trying to knock you down, so it's just like the podcast that somebody does who's been doing this podcast that you do, you could be way better than them, but they just already have that notoriety. So it's just about trying to defeat the gap, not bridge the gap, and it's ridiculous, but that's starting to fall. If you see what happened to Hollywood, like Joe Rogan was the fall of Hollywood, I feel. I mean, for me, from my note, like I noticed it, and it was just, now you don't have to be out there and doing all these things. Now we're noticing that these people who think we think have all the ideas. I mean, my God, politics. I used to think when I was a kid, like Bill Clinton had all the answers. I was 12, but I was like, now
So the girls he was with.
But now you're like, oh, this guy, they're not as smart as I think they are. Like, the people who are in charge aren't as smart as I think they are. They're smart. I mean, I'm not giving that. They're just not as smart as I thought they were.
Well, I think you look at like AOC. She was like a waitress, right? Now
She's a bartender. She's a bartender in New York. Yep.
And I think we've talked a lot about how she is smart, way smarter than the Chuck Schumers and the Mitch McConnells, who looks like one of the Guppies from SpongeBob, and the Lindsey Grahams and Nancy Pelosi, because she's on Twitch playing Xbox games with the people who are voting for her. And I think that as the House and the Senate start to skew a little bit younger, you're going to see more of that. And we've talked about that.
And you know what my thing is, Brent? Like I know you. I don't really know Greg. Nice to meet you for the first time, G-Reg with the third leg.
Same.
But here's my thing.
Same, man.
I think what this is starting to do for people is, I was a very social human being. I was out and I was playing music for 500 people, and I was at a church playing church music for 200 people my whole life. And it was very odd for me to get on a computer screen and look at people like, oh, this is awkward. For people who stayed in the house and who weren't socially awkward, it gives them a chance to open up and do some different things. And I think it's a gorgeous time to be. I mean, 2020 was some BS for sure, but it opened up a lot of avenues. And I think one of the avenues is for people to start to realize, like, everything that's in front of me isn't good, and I can go explore something different. So that's what I'm trying to do, man. It's just like, whenever I told Greg, like, my favorite band is Led Zeppelin. He's like, whoa, I got a couple questions. That's what we need.
Yeah, 100%. Not just about, talking about, music and stuff like that, but across the board.
100%.
Every facet, But, all right, I have this. Here's a question. Both questions that came from a very majestic young man, David S. from Carn City. one of our
Who's
one of
Dave,
our,
David S. from Card City?
David S. from Card City. He's one of our constant contributors, and he
Friend
wants
of the
to
program.
know. Yeah, friend of the show.
Oh, okay.
He wants to know: is it easy being a DJ in like a club or a wedding or whatever, knowing that at any point you could just throw on Nelly's Country Grammar and let it ride?
First of all, Dave S., I have morals and ethics, sir.
It's funny because you don't even know that it's a joke, and you're still making jokes.
I have morals and ethics, so I would never just put on Country Grammar and let it ride, whatever that means, sir. But no, it's not easy. It's not easy to do anything. Now, here's the thing: you can do. What did it say? You can do something so many times in a row, and it becomes a habit.
Yeah,
It has become a habit. But being a club DJ,
to play Country Grammar.
no, to not,
Isn't it?
no. So when you hear somebody at a club play Country Grammar, they're nervous. They're like, "Oh, what do I play next?" That's what they're thinking.
It's getting hot in here.
That's the second song. No, it is. I mean, it's so I was a musician first. So whenever I was a musician, you pride yourself on. This isn't gonna make sense to anybody who's listening. But when you play guitar, when you play piano, everybody forces you to play in every key. That's not very easy to do, but you have to play every song in every key. So if it's for Elise, you have to learn that song in every key. On guitar, it's very easy because you just slide your hands up, same positioning, kind of. So DJing, I took that same mentality to where I'm just not going to take the easy way out. So I would never, I could have to go pee in the middle of a set and there's 400 people there. I'm like, I'm not playing Country Grammar because it was just the easy way out. So
Right.
now, mind you, being a club DJ with that many people is hard because when you're 25 and there's a lot of drugs around, you tend to do those things, and that makes it harder because you make your life harder. But at the end of the day, I mean, no, it's not really hard once you get the grasp of it and you start actually doing it. It does make working a regular job hard, I'll tell you that.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, when
yeah.
you see your regular paycheck, you're just like, I've been sitting here for 40 hours this week, and this is what you gave me? And I DJed for 2 hours? It does make simple things in life hard, but
Yeah.
it's just always
Sure.
something.
But that's a good, side hustle, too. I mean, because like if you're only doing 2 hours a week or 4 or 5 hours a week.
Yeah, once it becomes habitual, you don't really have to pour a bunch of time in it to develop it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do now.
Right.
But, I mean, you don't have to do that. It's not something you have
So
to do.
are you trying to get out of the awful kids game?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, are you trying to do this full time? Your creative stuff?
I mean, isn't that the dream, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, 100%.
And I think, like, once you...
I mean, if we're lucky, we might be in my basement next year. So.
But here's my thing, as I was trying to say.
I hope not. No, if I hope that's the case for me. I don't want to be in your basement.
For Greg, that's 14.
I don't want to be in my basement.
But I'm just saying, if you guys start to get some form of revenue from it, you're like, hey, we can go
Yeah.
and move to a warehouse, and then you get a following, you're going to start seeing that, I started DJing, and I never thought that I would be downtown Youngstown big and then getting all these weddings. And then I never paid any attention. I was like, let me make a website. Like, why did I do, It's just, if you pour, I would rather pour into myself and my own product than somebody else's their ideology, I really don't know. I don't really get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never work
I get that.
I'll never work for another person up here again.
Yeah, right. I get that. I'm a terrible employee, and that's not because I'm a bad employee. It's because that I don't like people telling me what to do.
Yes.
That's a big reason why we started this. Was Greg and I both kind of feel the same way. We got some feedback at one point from a friend of ours. He's like, "Hey, you should try this or that," and I was just like, "Nah, we're not gonna."
No,
that doesn't sound like a road that we're gonna go down.
No, could you imagine working for somebody? I mean, and it's 2020. Can you imagine doing what people told you to do your whole? Hey, Brenton, can you give me a security check? Sir, I'm a grown man. I am a grown human being. Once you start to find your own mind and you find your own talents, it starts to become easier to be like, okay, I can morph myself. And who's that girl who used to slip under doors, turn into jail?
What?
Alex Mack. That was her name.
Okay.
I was like, what? You guys
Was-
know
Was
someone
that too
I didn't know?
nerdy? Was that too nerdy for the nerd club?
I'll tell you what. It was, you had me.
That was a
Yeah.
good one.
Way to go.
Hey, this guy right here.
There it is. Check out the big braised on bread.
That's a tasty burger.
Oh, right.
Shout to Dave S, man. I love you, Dave.
Yeah,
S.
David S. from Karn City. He's a regular contributor. He's also the only person in Karn City who's literate to write in an email.
100%. He stole all the literacy from everybody in Carter City.
Yeah. That's mean. I shouldn't say that.
It's true. If it's true.
That's probably two people.
Punching down. That's what that is. It's punching way down. So anyway, I mean, so you got the Twitch stuff going. You say you're going to get back into producing. Do you have anything like, on the immediate horizon?
What I'm doing right now currently is I'm trying to. There's a guy I've been doing a podcast with. He's from Pittsburgh. Went to high school with him. His dad is on a TV show in Pittsburgh for the Steelers. So he has a podcast. I've been on that kind of weekly, but I'm gonna start doing the music for that.
Cool.
I'm trying to produce the music for my own podcast that hasn't happened yet. Hopefully, have the balls to do it. And then
You just got to do it.
yeah, it's one of the things you got to hop into.
That's what we were. Our first episode. We had no idea. We did a little write up, and it's kind of evolved into like a whole format. In the first episode, I was on the onboard microphone on my laptop, and I sounded like I was doing like a Al Qaeda propaganda video. And, we have like these technical issues, and I didn't.
You can't just say that. All right.
So I did that, and so we in like the first couple episodes I didn't edit, so it was us going like and you just get better.
Yeah.
We're 15, 16 episodes in, something like that. We still say but not as much,
Yeah.
and the sound quality's gotten a lot better, and the format's gotten a lot better, and you just got to do it. And if it sucks, the first couple are gonna suck.
Yeah.
Our first one was terrible. You just got to do it.
I think perfecting the art of what Greg's doing right now is what I can't do. I'm just sitting there and being like, just
Taking it all in.
just listening, man. And that's the thing, man. I do my buddy's podcast. I'm just like, I'm this close to doing this. Like, hey, I got something to say.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's hard. I think that's an art. Man.
It's something I've learned listening to other podcasts and having done this is the sit and wait kind of thing is definitely tough, and kind of knowing when to come in. I did have a question because you said you do weddings, and I am someone that I love a good wedding.
Yes.
I love dancing at a wedding.
Yes.
It's been a long time since I've been at a wedding, but man, I love cutting a rug. But everybody normally asks, what's your least favorite thing to play at a wedding? Well, it was just like somebody puts that on their board. They're like, you have to play this, and you see it, and you're like, I would rather, jump into the pool and just hope I don't come out. And what's the least favorite thing you see on the board? And you're like, I don't want to play this. This disrespects me. This disrespects music.
Oh, man. That's a great question. Chicken dance has to be up there.
Oh, no.
The chicken dance.
This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. There I am.
That's from my wedding.
What? Why are you don't look happy either. Like, why are you?
Oh, well, it's because I'm physically drained at that point of the night. Because when I say I like to get down at a wedding,
You really get down.
I get down. I mean, I like to call it wedding drunk. You drink real hard, real early.
Yeah, and just ride that thing out.
And then you just ride it out. And the chicken dance came on about 3/4 of the way into Brenton's wedding, and I got knighted.
He got where did you do the first chicken dance that gained you the chicken dance notoriety?
Missy and Ned's wedding.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
we heard all about
I crushed
it. And
I
my
crushed
mom
it.
actually bought him that hat.
Yeah,
My mom bought him that hat
the rumor
for our
spread
wedding.
quickly.
Yeah,
That
like wildfire.
Yeah, it did, and I've hung from chandeliers. I've
great.
there's
Yeah,
some epic
dude.
pictures of me out there. I love dancing at a wedding. I'm not saying I'm a good dancer, but I love dancing at a wedding.
That was so perfectly timed. too.
That was amazing.
Some about those
Thank you for
arms.
that.
Some about those arms in that David Bowie shirt. I didn't think you were a good dancer. I never would have thought it.
You never would have thought with this lank,
Look at
good
it.
amount of lank, but there it is.
There it is.
Brenton, you're on it right
You're
now.
on it.
You're at least Greg. You're at least 6'4" in the arms.
I have like a 6'2" wingspan. I'm like 5'9" or 5'10". I got a
guessed
6'1"
it.
wingspan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we measured it in college one time, and that's super weird, but because I'm very lanky. Yeah, that's
Are
very
you
funny.
Greek? Do you have any Greek in you?
I don't think I'm any Greek. I'm.
Because you could have been
I think I
like
have a
the
lot
Greek
of.
freak part two.
You could have had
I could be.
$258 million, sir.
If I were athletic at all, yeah, yeah.
Which, listen, you've seen the show notes. You know that ain't happening in this show.
No, I'm looking at the back half of this thing. I just want to stick around just for like.
There's
I might take
no
notes.
athleticism.
Like, gee. Like what Mandalorian? Okay, wait, slow down, guys. No, man, seriously, I really, honestly, I think you guys are doing something fantastic. To be honest, like, and it's you just got to keep. You were inspiring me to do something like some good stuff. Seriously, man. People don't
Love to
need
hear
people
that.
don't need to hear like, all right, guys. What's the top song of the day? Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
No, we did. I mean, we did our top 10 TV and our top 10 music albums episodes.
I wanted to be on that
They
one.
were
I
all-
told you that. I wanted to be on the top 10 CDs because Greg wouldn't guess my top 10 CDs.
Listen, guess his right now.
Greg? Paramore. Paramore is definitely in there. Is Haley?
I didn't have Paramore in my top 10, but I do love Paramore.
See, I can tell.
I do love Paramore.
I can tell.
Yeah.
He also likes.
Yeah.
He also likes a little '90s. I don't know who. Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's Brent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like Red Hot.
they were my 1 and 2. Greg went to a Chili Peppers concert with me.
I was supposed to go to that. Chili-
Halloween night.
Brent, you
Now you were.
remember we went to that Black Keys concert? It was
I don't want to.
terrible. Terrible.
Let's not talk.
Horrible. I mean, Dave Auerbach is amazing, but
Yeah. Well, it was just, you know what? That's one of those things that the Black Keys are great. And I really feel like maybe that just wasn't the right venue for them. I mean, 2 guys jamming in an arena, maybe that sounds better at like Stage AE.
me and Brent said that it sounded like driving in a car with the aux cord kind of unplugged.
Halfway pushed it, 100%.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. And, well, the Flaming Lips, who I like, was
Yeah.
the opening act, and they were even worse. Because I talked them up the whole way down with the other guys. Oh, man, the Flaming Lips, they were Beck's backup band. They're going to be great.
Yeah.
And then they just sounded like...
Yeah, it was bad, man. So here's
rough.
can I ask a question? Who's your favorite
Sure.
'90s band,
Mine?
or just '90s,
his.
just '90s period? Like,
Yeah, Chili Peppers.
I mean, that's very easy for you, but can you?
They were-
That's
they
low.
were
That's
two-
low hanging fruit, Brent.
Yeah, they were 1-2 on my favorite album
Okay, other than them,
list.
I knew that.
Who else was on there? Foo Fighters, Incubus,
Foo Fighters, Stone Temple Pilots,
yeah,
Green Day.
STP.
Green Day. Weezer,
Yeah.
definitely Weezer.
I don't know who I would go with, because I mean, you have like all the Chris.
Nirvana.
I mean, no.
Third Eye Blind.
Oh, that's
Matchbox
a good
20.
one. That's also a good one. But what about like?
If you're speaking specifically 90s, I mean, that's very much, indicative of that.
What about-
time
Yeah,
period.
because they had one good song and it was in 1995. So I guess.
What
that makes
about
them 90s.
Tonic? That's all I'm saying. They weren't a good band, but that's a good song they had. What was that song?
If you can say
Yeah.
isn't that- yeah. I think
Yeah.
it was on a. Was it American Pie?
Oh, Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh yes,
The Smashing Pumpkins, I think, yeah.
Billy, what's his name? Billy
Corgan.
Billy Corgan.
Yes. Or you know who I love from the '90s, man? Alanis Morissette.
Oh, yeah,
Did
it's
you-
like rain, man. I love that.
Did you,
Ah.
did you hear?
I'm pulling up my.
We could do like a 90s
about
podcast with you,
Soundgarden?
Dallas.
Oh,
We should just do a 90s podcast
well,
with
that's
you.
what I'm saying about Chris Cornell, man. You got
Counting Crows.
Yeah. Audio Slave with Chris Cornell.
Audio Slave.
Yeah.
Soundgarden, yeah.
Yeah, Soundgarden.
That's
good, too.
He was in like 3 different. You got Tom
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Morello. Tom Morello was like,
Yeah, Tom Morello was an Audio Slave in Rage.
yes. Oh, I mean, talk about Rage,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah, Rage. I love Rage.
Beastie Boys.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yep.
So here's the thing.
Let's see what else we got.
I pride myself in knowing music from like the 70s up.
Radiohead.
Radiohead was fantastic. Creep is probably one of my favorite
Creep's a good
songs.
one. Yeah, Offspring. I'm just going through my Spotify list, my playlist.
If I go through mine, it's going to be way different.
You don't have Spotify.
I have Apple Music, and it gives me
Rascal.
the same thing.
You are.
I looked it up.
You're a rascal, if there ever was one.
I am a rogue agent.
You are.
Yeah.
Even the way that people send me Apple Music, how I get it is a dick move.
It's not. I don't send people Apple Music. If I send people music, I go to my Spotify account and send it.
See?
I just
See?
prefer listening.
See?
I prefer listening to podcasts on Spotify. I prefer listening to music on Apple.
Why is that?
Because if I pick an artist on Spotify, it'll give me that artist plus other people. On Apple, it just gives me that artist if I pick a playlist. And so sometimes if I just want to listen to, let's say I just want to listen to Paramore, then I will just get Paramore, which
can
is
do that
what
on
I want.
Spotify.
You can definitely do it on Spotify.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't. It's not as user friendly for me though. I don't know.
I have
For me, it hasn't been because I'll hear like 5 Paramore
West
songs and then I'll
Coast,
get
East
somebody
Coast.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just is something that Spotify is bugging me with, and maybe it's different.
Fried your brain.
Maybe it's different now, but this is when I had Spotify Premium like 4 years ago. That's what bugged me, and that's why I switched over to Apple because I was like, maybe it's different.
I think
don't
it's.
know.
I think it is
I
different.
love Spotify.
Me too.
I'll tell you what.
I don't love Apple. I just also just listen to the same bands all the time. I just listen to Taylor Swift and John Mayer, and that's it. And Sergio Simpson. So.
Let's go to John Mayer conversation if we can at some point.
Let's do a whole podcast on the man.
Oh my goodness! Can I show you guys my guitar? Here, I'm gonna show you my guitar. Look at this beaut.
What's happening?
Is it a PRS?
No, which was a Paul Reed Smith. This is a Dean.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yes, my.
So I've been listening to a lot of Limp Bizkit lately.
Dallas, I had no idea that you were a John Mayer guy.
Oh, dude, me and my girlfriend's first concert, I took her to see John Mayer. I saw him probably like
Hell yeah.
5 times. What's your favorite
Yep.
song? What's your favorite song?
Slow dancing in a burning room.
Oh, it's either that or Gravity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gravity is how you end everything.
Yes.
All the time.
Life.
You
My
just- yeah.
funeral, they better play Gravity.
Same.
Oh, man.
Noted.
Virtual
Maybe
hugs.
we'll virtual hugs. I love it. Oh, you're my guy right now. I love this.
Hey, people helping people.
People- it's a beautiful thing.
It really is.
Podcasting season. You get that butterfly net out. Catch that beautiful.
It's a butterfly, pal. Hey,
That's something you might be interested in.
hey guys, I gotta go pee real fast. Is that fine?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's. Did you want to stick around? Because
I definitely want to stick around. I think this is gonna be hysterical. I'm gonna mute my mic, but I think this is gonna be.
I'm just gonna get I
I
love
didn't
it.
expect you were going to take it with you.
No, I'm gonna.
We're going to move on to the rest of the show. I do want to say the big news of the day is that I secured myself a PlayStation 5.
Woo!
Yay! Yay!
When will you get it?
Sunday.
Okay.
I have to go pick it up.
I bought
at
myself
Best
a
Buy.
John Mayer watch, so I decided not to
Is that like an
pursue
Apple Watch?
PlayStation. It's a G-Shock that John Mayer designed, so I bought it.
Does it sing?
You're really that big of a John
No,
Mayer fan?
but-
I love it, man. Seriously.
Yeah, I am. I have Nike Air Maxes that he made that I duplicated.
Do you play it all?
I play a little. I'm not good, but I play a little. Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Number three. Mandalorian. Well, number 1 and number 2 were both our friend DJ Dallas, DJ Outro. Number 3, Mandalorian review. Cara Dune springs Mayfield from prison. The gang needs Mayfield's uncle to find the location of Moff Gideon's starship. They travel to an Imperial refinery to find the coordinates. After a daring chase in which Mando, dressed as an Imperial transport pilot, fends off some local pirates, they find the terminal in the mess hall. Mayfield won't go in because he sees his former commanding officer and is afraid of being made. Mando takes the thumb drive and removes his helmet so the terminal can scan his face. Mayfield shows in a confrontation with his former officer that his Imperial ways have changed, and he and Mando gun most of the troopers in the base down, and Boba Fett takes care of the TIE fighters. Mayfield blows up the base on his way out, and Cara frees him for his trouble rather than putting him back in the New Republic prison. So this was the penultimate episode for this season. What'd you think?
It was okay. I think we really got our expectations up really high. I think for
the last two were
right,
so
and for good
good.
reason. I mean, there was a reason why this one though, like, when I initially watched it, it was fine. It was a good we have a mission. We
That's
have
what
a
it
mission.
was. It was
Right,
perfectly fine.
like it's the best 6 out of 10 you can have. This is the way I would put it. It's
Yeah.
like the best 6. It's a whatever. I don't like Bill Burr in this.
No, I don't like that character.
I don't like Bill
at
Burr
all.
acting. I don't.
Yeah.
It's him playing the exact same character all the time. I think he's a fine comedian, is all things. But every
Sure.
time he's in a show, I'm like, oh, I'm just getting the Bill Burr experience. Literally, no matter what it is, for me. And if people like that, that's fine. That's totally fine. It's just not for me. And what I kind of liked about this episode is that when he brought his shtick, everyone's just like, what is this? Which I like that. That was something
Yeah.
I would like. Because in other things he's in, people kind of like laugh or pretend that it matters. This, because it's the Mandalorian, there is no laughter. It is like, we don't care that you're...
Unless it's Mando
Right,
and
right.
the child.
Unless it's that. That was the one thing I liked, but I just don't... I guess this thing where I did not care about his character so much in this show because his episode in the first season was the worst episode of the show.
Yeah, it was
And
worse,
so I had,
100%,
when we talked about it and we knew he was going to be on here, I had lowered my expectations. And I actually think if you base it on my expectations and then what the show did, it might actually be like a 9 out of 10, but just based purely on the view of the show, it's a 6 out of 10. It was exactly what it could have been. I don't think it could have been better based on the plot lines given, the storyboards, whatever. It was very much like, we have a mission. This is what we're going to do. Oh, he shows his face. Move on. He's not going to prison again.
Brown eyes.
Exactly. And it was fine. It was weird, though. And I said this to someone I talked to also about the show. I'm so pumped for the season finale. Because I feel like they're setting us up again where the season finale is just going to be like, let's get loose. Because the ending of the episode was like a 9 out of 10, maybe a 10 out of 10. The very end.
Yeah,
him showing up and
showing
being
up.
like, what's up? I'm here. Let's do this.
It was almost Taken. It was almost like Taken.
Yeah.
With Liam Neeson. Bill Burr was in Breaking Bad, right?
I didn't like...
He played one of Saul's
Yeah, I didn't like him in
goons.
Breaking Bad either.
He's got like that wise, like, yeah.
He's
see?
too much of a wise guy to
I'm
me,
funny.
and I don't...
Yeah,
Not a real wise
yeah.
guy.
Isn't he from Boston?
He is.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
you put, but not in the Mandalorian. He's from
Yeah, they can't turn
a
that.
galaxy far, far away.
They can't turn that off, man. It's always like
right.
you got your Samuel
Yeah.
Adams. You
Right.
got your. You all think you're all wicked smart.
Yeah.
You're right.
Is he from Boston? I'm looking it up. But yeah, I,
think
mean,
so. Yeah.
they let him go, so
He
it's
is.
a bit, he's just a bit role, and he's just like a whatever. So
I hope they let him go in a galaxy far, far away where I never see him again in this show. He's
Yeah,
from Canton,
that's
Massachusetts.
yeah,
I knew he was from Massachusetts.
Canton, Mass.
donkeys.
Yep.
Donkeys. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, this episode was exactly as good as it was going to be, and it was pretty much just a setup episode. It's interesting to see how they take a different track. Like, usually with Game of Thrones, the best episode of the season was the next to last episode, and then the last episode was a bit of just a setup, whatever. So I am hoping, but I do think that this episode, I appreciate that they're not showing us too much Boba Fett, because
Right.
he's awesome, and to have him. I'm glad that they're keeping the focus on the Mandalorian and not this sort of awesome character that we all know from a long time ago. I wouldn't be surprised. They didn't announce it, and we're going to get into that a little bit later with a lot of the announcements. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was some Boba Fett related announcements for a solo show or a movie or something. I know they were going to do a movie at one point, and they got canned.
Yeah.
It got scrapped after Solo didn't do so well. They kind of put everything on hold.
I hope they don't do it.
Do you hope they don't do anything with him?
Yeah.
You just
I just leave it. I like the Mandalorian, and that's a Mandalorian, and because then it goes into that thing where like we don't do anything new,
Yeah, that's true.
and
That's true.
yeah, because it might be awesome, but it also could be terrible, and I don't want a terrible.
I
Boba
just
Fett.
don't think that with that character. Number 4.
I forget where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember what the heck we were. I had a dad emergency I had to take care of.
Okay.
All right, so we'll just go into number 4 of the challenge. What's it called? Double agents, right?
Double agents,
Yeah.
man.
Challenge Double Agents. TJ Lavin and company are back. The new season of the challenge Double Agents debuted, and the plot got thick pretty quick after the initial challenge in which Anissa, yes, that Anissa, was the overall winner. The cast got told to pair up in a schoolyard pick-type game. Challenge legend CT spurred Kill a Cam and picked another 2-time winner, Ashley, which immediately painted a target on their back. The House will be voting in secret this year and decided to make a big move early and throw CT and Ashley into elimination. Anissa and Fessy followed suit and tossed Wes and rookie Natalie in. And I just want to say it's worth noting for our audience that follows the challenge. Natalie's not a standard rookie. She ran the Amazing Race. No, she ran the Amazing Race twice, and she won Survivor once, and she made it to the final of another Survivor. Natalie pretty easily. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see here. The House was rather disappointed when they learned CT and Wes would not be competing, and that it would be a girls' elimination round. Natalie sent Ashley packing to earn her gold skull. And TJ threw a twist on us that Natalie, as the elimination winner, now has the ability to choose any guy in the house as her new partner. And we are left as a cliffhanger as to what she will choose. You ever watch The Challenge, Dallas? Real World?
No, sir, not even once.
Yeah, did you ever watch The Real World? You watched The Real World.
On accident.
Right?
I didn't get cable until I got to college, bro.
Wow.
Heavy. That's heavy. Isn't it?
You can just go ahead and mute again. So what did you think about... what did you think about this episode?
I have some show notes.
Yeah.
Nelly now telling himself double Nelly T. No, when he was like,
Nelson.
and him thinking that was the smartest thing he's ever thought of was scary to
That
me.
probably is the smartest thing he's ever thought of. That guy's dumber than a bag of hammers.
Double Nelly T, man, and he's just laughing like he owned the joint. I was like, that's not great, man. Like you literally just took your name, added a T, which is probably the last name.
Yeah,
your last name.
I think it's like Thomas.
I don't know.
I think it's Thomas.
Right.
Thomas.
The one guy's an ultimate Beastmaster. That cracked me up. I don't know what that is.
Me either.
I'm sure it's other people know, and
Sure.
we can confirm whatever that is. I did love when the shoe got thrown at Wes
Yeah, that was great.
in the face.
Yeah.
And they just kept replaying it. It was a good 45 seconds of replay.
Yes.
The show, I love the show, and you and I both love the show, and this is why we're talking about it. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Which I love.
It's gotten, and we talked about this on another episode. It's gotten over the years more like a real show. You know, it used to be just hookups and fights and people drinking and everything, and
And
now
no
they're
production value.
Right.
Literally no production value before. Like, it had as much production value as we have right now.
Right.
And now it's like TJ's flying in on a helicopter.
I
They're
don't
in
they go hard with the themes, and I don't like that so much.
I do love that TJ Lavin has become this guy.
Yeah, he was a
skateboarder.
Guy. Right.
He's the challenge guy. He strokes his hair back.
He hates quitters.
At the beginning. Yeah, hates quitters. And he every time someone goes, he's like, hate to see you go. But he's also hey, he kind of sucked.
He didn't
you didn't really try that hard.
Did you watch last season?
Yeah.
When he made fun of Josh for crying as he was crying,
So
when he
fun.
got eliminated.
They're so good. The show doesn't ever cease to disappoint me. I mean, I always want Johnny Bananas and everything.
Yeah, me
I'm not
too.
gonna lie.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a letdown for him to not be
To
in
get
there.
CT and Wes is nice.
Yeah.
And
Darrell.
And Darrell. The only thing was disappointing to me, really, about the whole thing is it almost felt staged that it wasn't going to be CT and Wes. That they picked those two, and then we get this build up, and then it's not those two. That was disappointing to me.
TJ was just
although,
yeah,
and maybe it was just he just did an audible at the line.
I don't think.
It wouldn't have been great if it was that, though, where he's like, we actually need these guys on the show.
Right.
Because you do actually need these guys on the show, because we don't actually care.
Yeah, last season it got boring quick when Johnny was the only guy really left of note. We got the fight where Nani threw the noodles at Anissa. That was about it on last season. And the bunker thing was dumb. I'm glad they're in a real house this time, even though it's in Iceland, so there's not going to be any pool action.
Maybe.
I didn't see a pool. Was there a pool?
I didn't see a pool yet.
Indoor pool? Maybe?
There could be maybe an indoor pool. Also, it's just funny. It was Anissa, who's been doing this since I was still in college. Not kidding.
Right.
And
to qualify that, you've been out of college for what, 15 years?
Yeah. 14, 13, but I remember her being on the show in college because I was introducing Ty to the challenge.
Right.
And he's like, this is incredible. And she's like, I've been doing this for so long. And I always get really close to the end. And, but this year's different. And it's I would hope that when you've been doing something for 14 years and you've been unsuccessful, that your 14th year would be different, because every other time you would be unsuccessful in literally any other occupation, if you somehow lasted 14 years,
Right.
you would be fired. Like, it's crazy. And I like Anissa fine. Like, she's one of these people where I was like, okay. And then she won and everybody was excited for her. I'm like,
Anissa.
yay, Anissa. Great.
But nobody wants to be her partner.
No,
and the
why
whole
would
twist is I feel like
She's terrible.
right. And the whole twist of you can pick whatever partner you
I
want.
love this.
Is just it's Fessie's get out of jail free card basically. Because at some point somebody's gonna pick him. One of the girls is gonna pick him. He's physically probably the best competitor in the house outside of maybe Darrell.
Right.
You know, I mean, Fessy played D1 football tight end. He's built like a truck, you know.
He's also dumb as a brick, though.
He is dumb as a brick, and he did gas out at the end of the last final. So that's worth
Yeah,
keeping an
he's
eye
one
on.
of those guys. I mean, he is like, he is short burst of energy. It's
Sure.
very powerful, short burst of energy. And there is a thing about the show, and we do have an Olympian on this show.
Sure.
You know,
Lolo
with Lolo
Jones.
Jones.
Yep.
You know, like, and and I know other podcasts talked about, so everybody talks about this. Like, it really does bring out the best of like a person. Like, I'm not saying I could go on there and compete well.
Right.
Because I'm not strong in that sense of like I'm not on steroids lifting weights and this is my only job.
Right.
But I'm smart enough that with these challenges, like they took way too long with that challenge in this episode.
Right.
It was not hard.
Yeah. It
It was literally remembering
colors.
7 different colors. It was remembering 7 colors in a row.
Right.
It's a telephone number.
Right.
You're
right.
literally remembering a telephone number, and they like Anissa won by like a minute over, and it's like the way they made it seem, it took her like 25 minutes to remember 7
you
colors.
wonder too how much editing goes into it because they have to
Right.
make it look like people are fighting over that. I don't know why they're fighting over it either. It's like
Right, that was stupid. That was
sometimes
really,
I think their challenges aren't super well designed. That
No.
There's, I remember distinctly last season where they had the challenge where they were in the warehouse. There was like, you had to go into the fog and memorize the blinking colors. And Johnny
Yeah.
realized you could just see the reflection from the back and just stood there and remembered them.
Right.
So sometimes there's just, it's whatever. But yeah, they could do a better job of maybe designing the challenges and that sort of thing. But who do you like going forward through the season?
that's great. I would say I just think Natalie.
Yeah, she's an animal.
Winning this, she's an animal, and I also think I think if you get put into that elimination first time,
Right.
and you win,
Against a champion.
people kind of get scared.
Yes.
Well, yeah, against a champion, but also just because people get scared when they see like, oh no, like
Yeah.
I can't. So she's not going to get thrown into anything for a while.
Right.
I
Here's the
really
thing.
believe that.
I'm going to tell you about her and I don't think you watch Survivor. I watch it,
Nah.
every year. I can't imagine physically what she's capable of doing when she's not starving to death.
Right.
Because they don't get food on Survivor. They get like
Yeah.
They get like a cup of rice and whatever they can find. And the things she was able to do on that show, especially in the last season, were incredible. So to think of what she's going to be able to do as a competitor when she's like well fed all the time, I mean,
Right.
she's an animal. She's
Plus, I
definitely
just like her.
Yeah.
Like she's actually likable, which
Yeah.
most of the time, I'll be honest. Like
The new
I don't
people aren't.
normally. The new people aren't. I
Yeah.
also just don't like most of the women on this show and this is
Yeah.
based purely on like the fact that they've been doing a lot of like anabolic steroids.
right.
Is that their rage is like too much, but she actually seems like she knows what she's doing and may actually be doing like naturally.
Yeah, she
I don't
just
know.
works out.
She just actually knows how to work out and is actually like I'll tell you who I don't
Like
like.
CrossFit.
I do not like Lolo Jones.
No, I can't stand her either.
She needs to shut up constantly. Every time she came on, I was just like, you are trying way too hard.
Yeah, to be part
I'm
of
glad
this.
that you're an Olympian athlete.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm not one. You're
Right.
a better athlete than I am.
Right.
But at talking, you are way worse, and you need to shut up. I was making cookies while I was watching this morning.
Yeah.
And every time she came on, I was like, this is a good time to not pay attention because I'm not missing a single thing other than
Yeah.
just pure stupidity. She's bad.
She's fast.
God doesn't bless us with everything. God does not bless us with everything.
You know what? Here's the other thing was, you remember Theo?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an Olympian too. So 400, ran the 400. And
Right.
he never won. So I'm not concerned about Lolo Jones as a potential winner.
No.
Because you have to be able to play the game too, and there's more to it
Right.
than just being fast and doing the challenges. You got to be intelligent. You got to be political.
Who do you think would be the best professional athlete at this?
LeBron James? Does that count? He'd be the best professional athlete at most everything.
Yeah, that's a good one.
T.O. was on one of the celebrity things, and he couldn't hack it. Like he.
Yeah,
just couldn't.
I was gonna say Chris Paul.
Yeah, because he's got kind of that political mindset. But the problem
Right,
is,
and so does
that,
LeBron.
Right.
So does LeBron,
Anytime professional athletes show up in shows like this, and this was the case with The Amazing Race, basically everybody teamed up in the Final Four. The other three teams teamed up against D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnidge because they're like, they don't need the money. You know, and it's like they get. So to say who would be the best, it's like, it's kind of a hard question to answer because of the.
If I knew anything about Mike Trout's personality, I would say Mike Trout, but I don't know anything beyond him being fast and could hit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Mike Trout has the personality of a cardboard cutout, but
by all accounts, yeah. He's on a box of pretzels.
Who do you like guys-wise going forward?
You know, I just always I think this is going to be weird too. I just think it's a Wes year.
Everybody hates Wes. That's the problem.
Everybody, and I don't.
Oh, I don't hate him either.
Right, and it's like, but I feel like it's gonna be like, because everybody hates him.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where like it's anytime you watch something where somebody's just purely hated, then they end up winning. Because what happens, everybody keeps throwing him in, and it's like, oh, you threw Wes in. It's a girls' week.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's going to be things like that, where it's just like, oh, and then he's just going to kind of luck his way in there, because he's always like, he's obviously a good enough athlete.
He's won
and he actually is,
a few times. Right?
He's won a few times, and he's actually smart enough to get through things. So I'm going to say him, because he has done it forever. And CT, I think, I don't think CT cares enough. I don't think Wes cares that much.
Yeah.
He just kind of shows up for the paycheck.
Sure.
But all the other guys, like, Fessy, like, he's good, but, like, I just don't, if there's a math problem for Fessy, I don't think that's going to, it's 2 + 2, and he's like, oh,
CAD.
Like, yeah, he's going to say CAD. Yeah, exactly. He's like, I didn't
think
know
this
that
could
geography was in the mix.
I think this could be Corey's season.
It would be great.
He's been scratching on the door for a while. I think this could.
It would be
Corey's
great.
season.
I just don't trust. Anytime.
Problem is his closest ally is Nelson, and he's terrible.
Right, and also I can't imagine Corey climbing out of a box correctly.
Yeah.
And that's always my issue with these shows, is like, there is a part of this show where you have to be smart.
Yeah.
And Corey he's the kid that you have in your English class, and your English professor says, like, hey, what was the, where it's a book that any interpretation's usually, like, considered good. But then he comes out here, and he just talks about The Great Gatsby, and he's just like, oh, I think it's because, like, prohibition. And he's like, Corey, that's an answer. Let's move on.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel.
Let's move on, indeed. We will continue to be... Maybe not. There's 800,000 podcasts, but we're probably going to be one of the only ones that covers Mandalorian and the challenge. Number 5, Game Awards wrap-ups. The awards were virtual, with host Jeff Keighley in the studio and guests popping in and out. All the winners were available via video. In addition to the awards, there were boatloads of announcements via updates to existing games and new games as well. The awards were handed out. In controversy be damned, The Last of Us Part 2 won big, winning 7 awards, including Best Performance, Laura Bailey as Abby, Best Direction, Neil Druckmann, and Game of the Year. Ghost of Tsushima won Player's Voice and Best Art Direction, Best Music Score, and Best Role-Playing Game went to Final Fantasy VII Remake, meaning that Sony exclusives won big, winning 12 awards to Microsoft's 2 and Nintendo's 1. Highlighting the big announcements were Dragon Age 4, Sephiroth coming to Smash Brothers with a hilarious video of him holding Mario on his giant katana, Master Chief coming to Fortnite, the Swedish Chef as a playable character in Overcooked 2, and more. New game announcements were plenty as well. The list can easily be found online, but some of the highlights were The Initiative, which is Microsoft's self-proclaimed quadruple A studio, is making a Perfect Dark reboot, if you remember that game from the N64.
Yeah.
A new Mass Effect game was teased, the Callisto Project, which is a sci-fi horror game for the makers of Dead Space, and Open Roads from the maker of Gone Home in Tacoma, as well as more. So you're not in on this like I am. Let me explain why everybody hates The Last of Us is part 2, I should say. The Last of Us released in 2013. It's universally loved. A lot of people have it as their best game ever. It's usually in the top 5, and then it's usually the best PlayStation 3 game. So they released the part 2 in this one, and people didn't like it because of the narrative choices that they chose to make. They felt like there was a forced political agenda and things like this, and the game got review bombed really, really badly on Metacritic. It has a 93 Metacritic critical score, and I checked it today because I was looking up a different game, and I think it's got like a 4.7 player score, and it's because literally 100,000 people reviewed this game, and they all gave it like 0s and 1s based on never playing it and just what the narrative was. There was leaks. This game was just a mess, how it was rolled out. But as far as a game goes, whether you like the narrative choices or not, the gameplay is great. And I've said this before. The gameplay is great. The environmental storytelling is great. The game is beautiful. You know, it just plays well. It looks good. All of the above. It's not really. And I said when we kind of talked about the nominees, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these other games won, but the odds-on favorite would be The Last of Us. So it won 7. You know, a couple other games. Final Fantasy VII Remake won a few. Ghost of Tsushima won. Player's Voice, which even that was indicative of how much people hated The Last of Us because there was an online campaign as to vote for this game instead of The Last of Us. It was crazy. I wasn't really over the moon about any of the new game announcements or any of the announcements to additional games. I don't play Fortnite. I don't have a Nintendo, so I don't play Smash. I find it wild that they've been hyping up the initiative, this so-called Quad A studio, and then they're just making a reboot of an old game and not a new IP. I think that's kind of lame. I'm not really a Mass Effect guy, so that didn't really do it for me. I don't like scary things, so the Callisto Project doesn't do it for me. So it really wasn't, none of the new. There was one game that I did see a trailer of, but the name of it escaped me. It looked decent. I think it was like Desert something or other. It looked fine. I wasn't. Sony had said, "Stay tuned. There's going to be a big announcement," and then there just really wasn't. Other than all of their games winning awards, I mean, I guess that was the big announcement, but that was sort of it for quote unquote gaming's biggest night.
From being on this show, I kind of expected certain things. I guess my thing with this is this like the Oscars?
It's the closest thing that gaming has to the Oscars. But like we've said, there's a million awards for everything. For gaming, there's the Golden Joysticks and the DICE Awards and the South by Southwest and all this other stuff. But this is the closest thing to the Oscars, quote unquote.
Because I wasn't sure if this was like the Oscars or the Emmys, but I assumed just based from reading about it and stuff, this is the Oscars and if you've heard me talk about the Oscars in this show, I think it's all crap and nothing that actually is good wins. And from reading this and from reading what people thought of it, that kind of sounds the same to me. They kind of just pick what sort of matters. Yeah. I don't know. And it's disappointing because I would I don't know. This is how I feel about all awards, though. I just wish that things were actually what the best things are instead of what people just say, this is the best thing because so-and-so wants it to be because we got paid or because of whatever. And I don't know. I think it's just another disappointment to me on awards.
Here's the thing. I played, of the games that were nominated for Game of the Year, there was The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing New Horizon, and Hades. I played 3 of those games. I'd love to play Hades. By all accounts, it's a great game. But I can tell you of those 3 games, The Last of Us was the best game. So that winning makes sense. Right. The awards being what they are, I mean, some of them matter, some of them don't. It's an award show.
Right.
It's whatever. They can...
Does this impact games?
It can.
Going forward?
It can. Okay. Certain games will get a Game of the Year edition if they win one of the Game of the Year awards, where maybe they lump in any extra features or DLC or whatever that they can put in, that sort of thing. But I think I know in the past bonuses for people have been tied to Metacritic scores and that sort of thing. I don't know if awards per se have, because there's such a crapshoot in a lot of cases, but. Yeah, I mean, it's just fun, and the reality of it is that it's more for the announcements. It's just that and there were a lot of big announcements. It's just none of them were really that interesting to me personally.
That was going to be my question. Was there anything like surprising or?
I was surprised we didn't
to
get.
you.
Tom Holland did something. I didn't see that part. Tom Holland was on there, and I was certain we were going to get a trailer for the Uncharted movie, but there wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
I thought maybe that Sony would have a big announcement or maybe an additional trailer to one of the games that they have coming out this year, like Horizon or Ratchet or something like that. But there just wasn't a whole lot. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to be really excited for Dragon Age 4. A lot of people are really going to be really excited for Mass Effect. A lot of people are going to be really excited for this Callisto project because Dead Space is such a beloved franchise. Perfect Dark, another game that that was made by Rare back in the day. Microsoft purchased Rare, so they have that IP. On the N64, Perfect Dark was kind of the heir apparent to GoldenEye. I would say that a lot of people are probably excited for that, but like I said, none of these things really. I don't have Nintendo, so I don't play Smash. I don't play Fortnite, so a lot of the things just weren't specifically for me. But that doesn't mean that they're not for someone. You know what I mean?
What are you most excited about going forward? Like next year? Anything like the number one game where you're like, you heard about this? And you're like,
that was
yes,
at the Game
count me
Awards
in.
or just in general?
Just in general.
The game that
just in general. You think it could be a contender for next year?
Horizon will be a contender. Horizon Forbidden West will be a contender.
Okay.
And if they say that they're going to get the sequel to God of War out, but I don't believe that they are. But if they get the sequel to God of War out this year, dollars to donuts, put the money on it right now. It's going to win Game of the Year. The last one did.
Okay.
It's going to. It just will, unless because Microsoft doesn't have anything this year. They don't have anything.
Right.
And to my knowledge, Nintendo doesn't have a Zelda or a Mario game, so that means that Nintendo doesn't have anything. So unless there's some third-party sleeper that we don't know about, and I haven't seen any, then it's going to be either Horizon or God of War if they get God of War out. But like I said, I don't think they're going to. They say they are, but I don't think they're going to. We would have seen gameplay of it by now. That's just we haven't seen anything other than a logo.
No.
Number 6, Disney Investors Day announcement, which was on literally happening at the same time as the Game Awards. Disney's year-end investors meeting was highlighted by a buffet of announcements. Some of the nuts and bolts, such as the acquisition of Fox and the addition of Hulu and shows like that, are easily found anywhere on the internet. But for our purposes, we're going to highlight Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, and Pixar. So this is because there's so much. This is going to serve. This is basically going to be the quick hitters. I think I have like a couple wee little topics at the bottom, but this is going to serve that role. So we're going to go. I'm going to kind of jump around in order of, in my opinion, of importance. Disney films: Hocus Pocus 2 confirmed. 3 Men and a Baby remake with Zac Efron.
Zac Efron, hell yeah, I'm down for that.
Some sports documentary movies, including one about Chris Paul and one about the Greek Freak, a new Ice Age movie, and an animated night at the museum. The next big animated feature is Raya and the Last Dragon, and there's going to be Disney Plus shows for Princess and the Frog, Zootopia, and Moana. Anything in there tickle your fancy?
Hocus Pocus 2, of course, 100%. Give me SJP any day of the week. 3 Men and a Baby with Zac Efron. I've heard about this for a while, and now it's confirmed. Yeah. I'm definitely down. I actually really like Zac Efron.
Yeah, he was great in that.
Right? He's great. He's actually great in everything he does. It's just that because he's so good looking and so jacked that people don't really take him seriously. And and he's from this area. He went to school in Paso Robles. Maybe I'll see him. Maybe I'll run into him.
Well, I hope you don't run into him because it would hurt because he's built like a brick wall.
Yeah, he would put me down like a ton of bricks. But no, like I'm very excited. I like 3 Men and a Baby, and that's a movie that I feel like you can remake.
Yeah.
Without because no one cares about the original.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like you go back and you remake it, and you have Zac Efron. He's like, have you seen the Neighbors movies?
I think maybe
Neighbors 1 and 2 with. The second one is better than the first one, and that's where he shines. And it feels like kind of more of like a development of him into that. But yeah, he's really good. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I would say those two things are what I personally am most excited about, just because that's
Sure,
my wheelhouse of what things I
Yeah,
like.
I think we'll watch. We'll definitely watch Zootopia and Moana on Disney Plus. My daughter loves Moana. That was one of the themes for her birthday party. I think when she
Moana is
she
very
turned
good.
2. I'm sure The Rock won't be involved, which is a shame because I do love The Rock singing. That's always a great time. Hocus Pocus 2, definitely excited for that. I won't care about any of these sports docu things. I don't.
Nah, they'll be
Yeah,
bad.
I don't care about
I don't
those.
think it'll be good.
Pixar announced 3 new movies: Luca, Turning Red, and Lightyear. Lightyear will be starring Chris Evans as the voice of Buzz Lightyear. Not the animated toy, but the person that the toy...
The real guy.
What?
The real guy
Yes,
that he's
yes.
based off of. Supposedly,
not
you know what I
even-
mean? Like, yeah, that's so...
I don't
that's,
like
I think
this.
that's actually cool. You don't like it? See, I think that's cool.
Because it's going to confuse kids, definitely. They're like, that's not Buzz Lightyear.
I don't care about confusing kids. I don't care about confusing kids.
No, kids are going to be confused.
It won't confuse me, and I'll love it because I love Chris Evans.
Well, that's because you're 35 years old. You're an adult male.
Right.
They're not making this movie
right.
for you.
I don't care.
No, it
this is
isn't.
for me. No, you're making it. I'm the one paying for it.
It's for the kids.
I don't care. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
No, I'm not.
I'm excited about it.
No, I don't care about Lightyear. I think it's a bad idea. Why
think
don't
it's
we
gonna be
just
great.
make a movie
No, I
about
think
a
it's gonna be
rat running down the street and call it the thing that Mickey Mouse is based off of?
He's a mouse.
I just don't.
I just
I
like
love
Chris
Chris Evans, and he's so
handsome.
This is the
He's
thing.
so
Chris
handsome.
Evans is so excited to do this.
Right. That's why I think it's gonna be good because he's so
Yeah,
excited.
He's really excited, and I do.
He hasn't been in anything bad since Fantastic Four.
Well, I feel like the only movie that he has done that wasn't a Captain America or Avengers movie is Knives Out, and it was
Which was amazing. Yeah. And he's awesome in it. And I bought a sweater based purely off that.
he is what made that movie, and I think he made that movie because
Well, Daniel Craig too. Daniel Craig's really good in that too.
he's fine. Chris Evans like swearing and being like a bad person is what made that movie. Because
It's really good. Yeah.
does that movie work if he hasn't been literally Captain America for the last 10 years?
It doesn't, but that's what, like, I think that's probably why the movie happens.
Right.
It's like that movie doesn't even get made if Chris Evans isn't Captain America. Language.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
know,
then
that's
he's-
exactly it,
I
which is
can't
perfect.
Think of any quotes, but he's dropping f-bombs and whatever. Do you want to do?
Yeah, it's great.
Do you want to do Marvel or Star Wars next?
Star Wars.
Lucasfilm announced 3 new series, including Ahsoka, Rangers of the New Republic, Andor. For Disney Plus, there was a trailer for Andor. It was a prequel to Rogue One, starring Diego Luna as Cassio Andor. Cassius makes watches. Whatever. Update: Mannequin Skywalker himself, Hayden Christensen, will be reprising his role as Darth Vader for the Obi-Wan series, and I couldn't be less thrilled.
Right.
Orlando Calrissian miniseries with hopefully Donald Glover as the star was announced, and Patty Jenkins, who's the director of Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984, will direct a Rogue Squadron movie. Some smaller titles announced were the animated The Bad Bunch Droid Story, and in non-Star Wars Lucasfilm news, Willow will get a series on Disney Plus, and Indiana Jones 5 and the Temple of Who Gives a Shit was given a release date of July 2022.
Here's what I want to go here next. I don't care about
That's
any of this.
baloney.
All this is just, it really feels just,
Well, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw this tidbit. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are going to be doing Ahsoka and Rangers of the New Republic. Does that change your mind?
it changes my mind slightly.
This is
I don't
just
feel like-
the Marvelization of Star Wars.
It's exactly. And the thing is like, the Marvelization is that we have a background.
Yeah.
We have comic books, and I understand we have Star Wars books. I'm not. The Star Wars books are more like,
Right.
not to sound weird, but they're more fan fiction.
Yeah.
And the Marvel comics are actually comics written with a purpose. So this just is like, I don't think any of this will be like The Mandalorian.
I think Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka will. I think it'll be on the same level.
I hope so. I hope I'm wrong.
I just watched Rogue One like last week or whatever. I don't need a Cassius. I don't even know the guy's
No,
name.
I don't.
I don't
Rogue
need a
One's
series
great.
about him if I don't know your name.
Yeah, I don't need anything about that. and it's just that's why I want to go. It's just like I don't. And when you tell me Hayden Christensen,
That literally-
ooh, the worst person in any freaking Star Wars movie ever, ruined the.
It pissed me off.
Like imagine that being your introduction to Star Wars. Like
Some people don't know any
let's go
better.
see this, and then Hayden
Some
Christensen.
people don't know any better.
Right.
If we threw
And
that up
that's
in
just-
front of DJ Outro, he'd probably be like, "Man, this is pretty good."
I'll tell you right now, if I ever had kids, I'm not sure if I would ever show them that. I mean, I would eventually when they're like mature adults. Which I guess, well, geez, I'm not even a mature
My
adult.
5-year-old
But
son has watched A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and that's what I started him on. And when I put the prequels on for him, he was like, "I don't like this. I don't like
yeah,
this."
he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. And we'll get into that with the whole episode. But it's just like.
Yeah.
Telling me Hayden Christensen going to be a part of something is like, oh, okay.
It's like inviting the uncle that gets drunk and touches people at family.
I was going to say, so like somebody was available for 50 cents.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't
he
like
was
that.
just available. That's so that does nothing for me. Like you said, like if there is a Lando miniseries, if Donald Glover is
if
involved,
Donald Glover's Lando,
yes.
then I'm cool with it. If he's not, then I'm not.
Yeah,
Because he nails
no,
that.
I'm not. Yeah, because he's so good.
I'm cool with Patty Jenkins doing a Rogue Squadron movie as long as Wedge is the primary and protagonist. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And some of these other things,
That would be cool. I
the
just
droid story stuff. My son will eat that up. He loves R2D2.
I guess my thing too is like when I look at this, and you're just like, oh, here it is, all this content all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, am I just getting this just thrown down my throat? No, this is
Pretty much.
probably like a
Yeah,
5-year
I think
plan.
2024.
You know, so it's not 4-year plan. So it's not actually as much as it seems. It's just it feels like, oh, I'm just gonna have to back watch all this stuff and just be like overloaded with it. Which, sure, I can't go to the movies, and there's not any real good
Well, I can't go to the
television.
movies by 2022. I'm gonna probably not care that much, actually.
I mean, we probably will be by then. As long as we get all our shots and everything.
Yeah.
I hope. But yeah, it's just to see all this all at once is kind of almost like a shock to the brain.
Yeah, they announced 50 new things across all.
Right. Which is just a lot to take in. And here's the thing. Am I super excited about everything? No. Will I watch all of these?
I'm not gonna watch.
I will easily watch everything.
I'm not gonna watch like some of the Pixar stuff.
I'll probably the Pixar stuff I'll probably put on the
even some of
background.
the Star Wars stuff, like the Bad Batch. We'll see. I tried really hard to get into the Clone Wars, and I just like haven't been able to. So
Yeah, the Clone Wars is tough to get into.
yeah. Okay, that leads us to the crown jewel of the Disney money making machine, Marvel Studios. Marvel had a lot to say. The release date is March 19th, and a trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier was available. The release window is May 21st, and the trailer for Loki was available, including Owen Wilson. Wow.
Wow, you guys.
Wow.
Hey. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What are you guys? Yeah. All right.
Black Widow, May 7th. Yeah, right. Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings allegedly will debut July 9th, not counting on
They
it.
don't say. Well, they do. I guess they do say the year.
Yeah,
but-
2021. Not holding my breath for any of these. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, March 25th, 2022. That's probably the first one that actually hits the date.
Yeah.
There will be a War Machine Disney series called Armor Wars, and there will be the Nick Fury series that we talked about the whole way back in episode 2, Secret Invasion. A couple of notes: there's a new WandaVision trailer. Mark Ruffalo and Tim Roth, who played Abomination in the Edward Norton Hulk, will show up in She-Hulk. There's going to be a Guardian of the Galaxy holiday special. Christian Bale will join the MCU as Gore the God Butcher and will be the primary antagonist of Thor Love and Thunder. Ant-Man 3 was announced, Ant-Man Quantumania, and will introduce Kang the Conqueror. Fantastic Four in the MCU was announced, but there were no further details. There were no X-Men details announced. And finally, it was confirmed that King T'Challa, the Black Panther, will not be recast in the upcoming Black Panther 2, and the film will further explore the world of Wakanda.
I love all this. This is why I wanted to save it. It's like the new WandaVision trailer, awesome.
I didn't actually watch that one. I watched all the other ones. I didn't see it until late.
You know, it's just more of what you expect. It's great. I love Lucy meets Marvel Universe, and I'm so here for it. At first, when we talked about this, I wasn't sure, but I'm so here for it. I think it's gonna be just great content, especially when you're just sour and you're just in a mood. I think it's gonna be like really lighthearted. It's gonna be great. She-Hulk, I'm down. Whatever. That sounds like fun. I mean, whatever. I'm not a huge like Hulk thing, but I'll catch that. I like Ruffalo being involved and stuff. The kind eyes of Mark Ruffalo. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special feels like that should have come out 2 years ago.
And it
I'll
won't
take
come
it
out
now.
until probably next year.
2 years from now.
Right.
And yeah, that would be fun. I mean, it feels like if there's a Marvel Universe part that should be a holiday special, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the chef's kiss. Our guy, Christian Bale, finally coming in to the MCU. You know, it's weird. I'm not sure, like,
Does he need
but I love
money?
he's playing a weird. No,
Is he
he
broke?
doesn't. That's it. No, I think
Christian Bale doesn't, like, he did Batman, but even the Batman movies that he did were like art house movies.
he doesn't care about anything anymore. Like here's the thing. He doesn't care. He's English. He's just like, you know, whatever. Top of the morning to you. Whatever. He's coming in.
Fish chip, cup of tea.
He's gonna do it.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
all that.
he's coming here. He's gonna be the best part of these movies. What's gonna be really funny? You're having an actual like actor coming in here and doing this. It's gonna be incredible. And also, I didn't know much about this character. I heard of it, but it's like post me reading comic books on the regular.
Yeah.
Character is super gnarly,
Benedict Cumberbatch is an actual actor. His name's Benedict Cumberbatch.
I guess.
He's
That's
English.
true. That's true. Yeah.
He's my favorite of the
That's true.
Sherlock Holmeses, easily.
I don't know if he's my favorite. That's an episode. I want to break down. He's really good.
He's my favorite Sherlock Holmes.
He's good. I want to
Robert
break
Downey
that down.
Jr. movie put me to sleep when I saw it.
I wasn't gonna go in that direction.
That was
of
probably
things.
because I
no,
had all that food from the buffet beforehand.
shocking. No.
Wow.
Like, I mean, I don't. Here's my thing: is like Christian Bale rarely makes bad decisions. So, him
Terminator.
doing this, there must. Yeah.
Terminator
That
sucked.
was a bad decision. Terminator sucks, but I'm saying rarely makes bad decisions. We all make bad decisions.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have this beer, and then I do, and my tummy hurts because I'm old.
Right.
It's actually kind of shocking to me it's been this long when maybe the greatest living actor is
Stop it.
the greatest living actor is going to be in MCU.
Daniel Day-Lewis
And
is
I'm
going to be
excited.
in an MCU movie. That's weird.
Well, hey, Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't act anymore.
He's
He
still the
retired.
greatest living actor.
I'm talking actually acts because Daniel Day-Lewis retired.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
That's no. I'm saying retired. Like he retired. I'm talking someone that actually is actively acting.
Right.
Would you disagree that Christian Bale is? I can't think of someone else.
You're putting me on the spot, and I don't like that.
Sure.
But
But we also love Christian Bale.
I'm a huge Christian Bale fan.
He's gonna be awesome. I think he's also in a Thor movie, which means it's gonna be funny. Which I like that.
I don't think he's going to be funny.
I think he is gonna be funny.
Yeah,
I think there's gonna be like some. Yeah. Hey, we'll move on.
Yeah,
Whatever.
sure. Right. Yeah.
I like Kang the Conqueror being in it because I love Kang the Conqueror as a kid. That guy just destroying crap.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Everybody thinks he's going to
And-
be the next big bad, but I don't think he is. I think it's going to be Doctor.
No,
Doom.
I don't think he's gonna be the next big. Yeah, I don't think
it's
he is
gonna be
either. But
Dr.
I like
Doom.
him being in. I hope it's Doctor
Doctor
Doom.
Doom was the basis of Darth Vader. That's
Yeah,
who Darth
Dr.
Vader
Doom is the-
based on. Is Doctor Doom?
Doctor Doom is the basis of like all Marvel madness.
Yeah.
People always think it's everybody else, but it's like, no, it's not. It's Doctor Doom. I hope it's Doctor Doom. I just like Kang the Conqueror just as a personal, like, he's crazy. That's a fun get. And being an Ant-Man, that also means it'll be a funny version of this.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
which I like
Paul
that.
Rudd.
Fantastic
guy.
Four.
Well, I think
I've
that's where Doctor
said-
Doom comes in. He comes in on
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I think Fantastic Four is that. My thing is Fantastic Four could be awesome. We just haven't seen it.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, they're 0 for 3.
It could be. They're over 3, but it has never
was
been
it?
part
Yeah.
of the Marvel Studios.
Sure, right.
Which is insane. it's the most Marvel thing there is, and it's never been part of the Marvel Studios. So it's
I think X-Men's
kinda-
more Marvel.
but it was the first Marvel
Was it really?
group.
I don't think I
it's
knew
the first. It's the first Marvel group,
got me there.
and yet it isn't. Yeah, 19. I think it was 1960. We might have to fact check that, but it was before X-Men. It was before X-Men. They were the first Marvel group. And it could be great because they actually have like real superpowers, and all those things are actually like cool and real. But we just haven't been able to figure it out. The movies are terrible and whatever.
Right.
I don't care about X-Men anymore. I think we need a
I'll
break.
care about X-Men when it's in the MCU because it'll be done correctly.
And also, if we do the right, like if it's done correctly, correctly in a sense of like
Who's really short?
we need
Tom Cruise? Tom Cruise is really
Tom
short.
Cruise is
right?
really short. Yeah.
Yeah, so he plays Wolverine because Wolverine's like 5'2". So
How about we just don't have Wolverine in the X-Men? Because he's actually barely in the X-Men in the comic books.
Listen,
If you actually read the comic books and you're a nerd and you actually have read it, he's barely in them.
here's the thing.
He is not that important. He's just because he's cool, because he's a short little angry Canadian.
He is.
And people love
but
it.
here goes the thing: is outside of probably prior to the MCU being built, outside of Spider-Man, the most popular hero is Wolverine. Why wouldn't you include that?
I guess. I just,
You know it's gonna be.
I mean, he's one of my favorite too.
It's not
I'm
gonna
just,
be Hugh Jackman. He's too old.
right. You can't
So
have Hugh Jackman.
You just have to figure it
I'm
out.
trying to think who would be like a good Wolverine. That's tough. You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be someone we don't know about.
Probably.
It's gonna be like it's gonna be an English guy who just decides to hit the gym, and he's short, hits the gym. Maybe
Andy Murray, the tennis player.
Oh yeah,
He's
I mean
got
he
the
should probably
gnarly
retire.
teeth
Well, he's
for it.
tall though. He is tall though. He's like 6'2".
Is he really? He seems like such a
6'2",
little
yeah.
fella.
Really? I think
Yeah.
he's lanky.
Is he? I don't know.
Oh, tennis players always seem shorter than they are because they're all the same height. Tennis players are all about 6'2". It's
probably
because you got to be able to. Well, you got to be able to serve with a good amount of speed over that net,
Right.
and that's you got to have a good amount of lank about you,
Good way.
like I do.
Right.
You got to have a lankiness, even if you're short. And then the Black Panther thing. I think we both
Yeah, we knew
decided.
that. Yeah.
We knew that was going to happen.
That was the-
And I think I'm not saying this any disrespect. That'll be a cool way to go, to just explore the rest of it.
Yeah, I don't think that it would have been appropriate to recast that character.
No, it would have been super
As,
gross, and glad we're not doing that. And there's a lot of characters out there to explore and
Yeah.
make popular, and everybody loves that series. And
Yeah.
I think everyone would just be doing a service to T'Challa. In that sense of things, it's like I think they actually can make that maybe a really cool movie that people will be like, ooh, yeah, like here we go.
Yeah, we'll see. That was the only movie I've ever seen in IMAX. Was Black Panther.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the only movie- I think. No, we didn't see it in IMAX. Never mind.
What?
I thought we went to an IMAX theater, but it wasn't in IMAX, so never mind.
Yeah, it was down at the waterfront. That's like a whole nother world down there. Speaking of IMAX, Christopher Nolan, as he is commonly called, calls the HBO Max Warner Brothers deal the worst streaming service ever. In a statement to The Hollywood Reporter, Nolan says, quote, "Some of the industry's biggest filmmakers and most important movie stars went to bed the night before thinking they were working for the greatest movie studio and woke up to find that they were working for the worst streaming service. Ellipsis. Warner Brothers had an incredible machine for getting a filmmaker's work out everywhere, both in theaters and in the home, and they are dismantling it as we speak. Ellipsis. They don't even understand what they're losing. Their decision makes no economic sense, and even the most casual Wall Street investor can see the difference between disruption and dysfunction." End quote. He's just butthurt because he films everything in IMAX, and you can't put IMAX on a plasma on your living room wall.
He's also right. I mean, like I love Christopher Nolan. I love most of the things he's done, and he's not wrong in what he's saying. But what he is wrong in is like you have to get things out there.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Do you want just? Here's the thing, like do you just want Tenet to sit for 3 years? I mean,
Right.
until theaters can be packed. 'Cause
He's one of those guys that I feel like he'd be fine with that. Yeah, just let it sit on the shelf.
and he would be. You know who isn't good with that? Warner
Stockholders.
Brothers. Right. People are, like he's
Suits,
fine with that.
bean
yeah,
counters.
he's fine with that because he doesn't give a crap. He's made his money.
on to the next
He can
thing.
kind of do it. Yeah, he's on to his next thing. He's got another crazy thing going on, which is going to be great, whatever it is. He's in it for himself, and as most people in this kind of industry are, and he's only seen it through that eye lens. And it's, like I said, he's not wrong, but also this is the right move.
Yeah.
You have to get content out there, otherwise you are, like when we talked about the James Bond movie, you're not just losing like a little bit of money, you're losing millions of dollars every week that something isn't out there. HBO Max is not the worst streaming service. I have no buffing problems ever with it.
I
was
don't
a
know
really good
why.
internet.
Like, I don't know what the basis for saying that it's the worst streaming service ever.
I think it's because the
there's-
Warner Brothers connection. It's the Warner Brothers connection.
It just seems very like nepotism, and
He's probably bored too.
yeah. Well, you
It's
never
the
know.
holidays. He's
People
stressed
throw,
out.
People throw a microphone in somebody's face and they say crazy things.
Yeah. I just also want to know why anybody cared. Like, I mean, like you. Well, I know why you care because you know Christopher Nolan's gonna be like, no, I don't like this.
Yeah, sure.
No, Tenet's probably. He's probably like they're probably off script. He's like, Tenet's probably like right up there with Godfather Part 2.
Did you know that Dunkirk didn't have a script?
Yeah, I've heard that.
So you know how
don't
you
necessarily...
you get scripts every year signed by famous people for Christmas?
Yeah, and did that again this year.
Well, you're not getting one from Dunkirk.
That's too bad. I'd love to have a Harry Styles. I'd love to have a Harry Styles one, but with his lipstick.
We could get that dress that he was wearing.
I would love that. I could probably fit in it,
Is he little?
and I just prance around in it.
Is he a little guy?
We're both pretty little. You know who made me feel better about myself? Timothy Chalamet on Saturday Night Live. That guy is skinny. I thought I was skinny. That little guy is very skinny. I'm gonna get that in our little picks this week, but good lord, Timothy Chalamet is a little guy, handsome fellow.
Maybe
deep
he could play
voice.
Wolverine.
Ooh, he had to buff up quite a bit because we are working with the same muscle mass.
None.
None.
Yeah.
None.
0%.
Sinewy,
Body
strong like
muscle.
Spider-Man.
Right.
A lot of leg strength. That's the problem with the pod. You don't. Well, you can't see any of us. But if we were recording it, you can't see my leg strength. But I'm all lower body.
Well, if we have the feats of strength
Ladies.
next week, you have a lady. What do you?
I know.
Who are you advertising to
I don't
right
know.
now?
I don't know what am I doing. Everything. I'm advertising to anything that will sponsor us. Because I will read anything you put out
We
there.
got to talk about that actually, because I got some.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got some stuff. Got some stuff in the works. All right, no quick hitters this week, or no clip of the week. We do have two quick hitters, and they're just very, quick. So, hence the name. Cyberpunk 2077,
Very hit.
the long-awaited CD Projekt Red game by the company that developed The Witcher 3, is a mess on current gen consoles. CD Projekt Red did not show the game on Xbox One or PS4 in preview cycles, or give a copy prior to review embargoes. It has put Sony and Microsoft in a position where they have to offer refunds because this game looks like a garbage truck on fire floating through a flooded city with COVID-infested zombies.
Seems nice.
Oh, it's horrible.
You did
Like the
service.
screenshots
you,
of it.
You just gave it a service. That movie, because other people are like, "Here's what I'm playing," and they show it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that looks
Listen,
terrible.
Listen, it's apparently it runs fine if you have a high-end PC and an Xbox Series X or a PS5. But the review on IGN for the PS4 version of Cyberpunk literally said, "Do not play this game."
Right? Yeah,
It's
I saw
broken. It's as broken as Batman's back after Bane got done with him. That was quite the alliteration.
that.
Yeah. So if you're a listener to this, and you don't have a PS5 or a Series X yet, and you wanted to check out Cyberpunk, wait, because it's a hot garbage dump. The only other quick hitter we had, and this is just because it's my nominee for the role of Wolverine, which is Netflix is going to have a series starring Nicolas Cage on the history of curse words. I love Nicolas Cage.
Who doesn't? Crazy bastard.
If
I love it.
If you don't love Nicolas Cage, you're a communist.
Yeah, you may still like cherries, but no,
It was a great
I'm
show.
excited.
Yeah, no, Nicolas Cage doing anything's phenomenal. He's going to do that
Right.
Tiger King thing, and He's probably
great.
gonna
He's
pop
great.
up in Into the Spider-Verse 2, I hope.
He's the hero we deserve, not the one we needed.
Something like that. Or maybe the other way around. He's the one we
Ah.
needed, but not the one we deserved. Either
Ah.
way, he owns 2 castles. So,
He doesn't owe him anymore.
does he not?
I don't think so. I think he had to sell them.
All right, well, we lost DJ Outro. I think he got disconnected, so let's just hop into our...
Meteor recommendations. What are you getting after?
What am I only doing?
Working?
I am only listening to 2 things right now. Most of it is Taylor Swift Evermore. She released it last week. It may be the greatest album ever written. No, it isn't that. But it is incredible. It is the follow-up to Folklore, which was also really good, but this feels like a more like adult version of that, and it's beautiful. I love it. I've listened to the entire album through and through 10 times. And then Sturgill, my guy, came out with Cutting Grass Volume 2, so it's just more of his songs, but bluegrass style. It's really good. Oh, Sarah's probably my favorite song on it. And then I looked at my Apple stuff and how much music I've listened to this year. I've listened to 49 hours of Sturgill Simpson. I've listened to 27 hours of Taylor Swift. Those numbers will both increase by the end of the year. If you want a Taylor Swift recommendation off of Evermore,
I don't.
I'd say Ivy is my. You may not, but
the listeners
other people may.
yeah, sure.
The listeners may. Ivy is my favorite song on there. Willow, which is the single off of it, is very good. The whole album's just great. She's fantastic. I'm glad she's in our life. I realized her favorite number is 13. My birth year is 85. That's 13. There's a connection there.
What? 85 is 85. It's
No,
not 13. That
8
doesn't
plus
make
5
any
is
sense.
13. So it's just no.
2 plus
no,
2
it's just
is
what she
cat.
does. It
Bessie
just
said
it's
2 plus 2 is
numerology,
cat.
people. If you're into that, which I'm not, but I don't care because she is. It's so there's a connection between Taylor Swift and I. We're probably best friends.
What are you
is what it
watching?
comes down to. What am I watching?
Yeah. Good. Let's
Finish up
move
the
on.
Queen. Finish up the Crown. I'm sorry, the Crown. I always call it the Queen. The Crown with Diana. It's the best thing. It's so good. This season with Diana is so good. Josh O'Connor, who is Charles, is probably my favorite actor now. He's so good as Charles. The girl that plays Diana is really good. Her name slips me right now. This is the only season I've watched, but I love the season. We're gonna go backtrack and watch them now. I'm gonna finish Ted Lasso. I love that show. Obviously, The Challenge. Star Wars, struggling through that because I just watched episode 3, which is just an absolute gas fire of a movie. I think this is probably... I'm pretty sure I've watched it 15 times now, and this is the most disappointed I've been in it.
Right.
And just Christmas stuff. We mix in Christmas movies, but this is going to be a power through with the Star Wars episode. Yeah, and then just more, reading Elena Ferrante. I haven't been able to read as much this week just
Right.
because I'm super busy, but yeah, what are you reading, watching, listening to?
So Amazing Race finishes up the challenge, Mandalorian. We've watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I just couldn't find it there for a second. Elf, The Grinch on multiple things. We started Polar Express tonight, so we've been doing the Christmas thing.
Even with the sexuality in the Polar Express?
Right, yeah. Wow, what a rabbit hole that is. I'm playing. I was telling you before we went live. I'm playing ukulele in the Impossible Lair, and I'm on the last level, and it makes me want to just break a kitten's neck straight in half. I'll be getting the PS5 on Sunday, so I'll have some impressions of that, and that's pretty much it. I'm out. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends. Tell your family.
Tell your mothers.
About the unmistakable essence of the BXG podcast.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Appreciate
care.
it. Take care.
We did lose our friend Dallas there somewhere in the middle after the real world. He either quit recording or I'm not sure exactly what happened, but we did want to say we did have a great time with him. It was a lot of fun interviewing, and so we're hoping to have him back again soon. Check out his music, him DJing on Twitch at twitch.com/DJ Outro. and then on his Facebook page as well. So I just wanted to add that in there, posthumously, if you will.
I think I could beat you in a 40.
I say
I'm 40 what?
40 yards. 40-yard dash.
Although, like, maybe eating 40 donuts.
he'll beat you in a 40-yard dash to Dairy Queen for sure.